So we need to have conversations that matter with people. This could be your aging parents. So now your kids have left and you've got some new dependents and it's mom and dad. In a lot of cases, they do need our help more now as they're getting older with their real estate, with their health care, with their savings and their estate planning. So maybe it's a conversation that you have with them to say, Mom, Dad, we haven't had a lot of time to help, but now we do. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome back to the Empty Nest Full Pockets Show. This is the podcast that helps you turn the page, not just emotionally, but financially too, as you step into the empty nest chapter of life. I'm Matt Meline. I'm a financial advisor. I'm an empty nester, and I'm a firm believer that this stage of life isn't the end of the story. I believe the opposite. I think it's a fresh start. And today's topic is what I'm really excited about, the empty nest financial reset. How do we reassess our goals once the kids are gone? So the first part of this will be what will cause the pause before the pivot. So when the last kid or even the first kid leaves the house, there's often a moment, quiet, maybe a little bit spooky. You look around and you're like, now what? I talk a lot in my book about the first Friday. And that first Friday is when the kids have left. You realize at midnight that night, you don't have to wonder where they are. They're off doing their own thing. And that first Friday can be a glorious thing. It can also be sad. I get that. But at that moment, you look around and you say, now what? And emotionally, that's a lot. There's a lot going on, but it can also be very freeing. The second part then, as far as the pause and the pivot, is then financially. You know, that silence that you hear when you wonder about where am I at, that's an opportunity. Because you've spent years, sometimes decades, prioritizing your kids' needs. Think about it, sports fees, college tuition, groceries that disappear in milliseconds, especially at my house with the two boys. But you know what? Now things have changed. So the question is, are your financial goals still aligned with your current reality? And what about your future dreams? So this really is a moment to pause and to pivot. Don't be afraid. Don't let fear creep in here. This is just a moment when you can really take a breath and say, where am I at? What does this all mean for my future? So let's talk practically. What actually changes in your financial picture once the kids are out of the house? The first thing you may notice is that you've got a little bit more money in your checking account. You're not buying as many groceries. You're not paying all the school fees. Maybe your kid is paying their own phone bill. I say that with a laugh because I'm guessing that's not the case for any of you that are listening to this. If they are, it's a miracle. The deal we made with our kids is once you need a new phone, you're off our bill. Those kids are carrying around the little crappiest pieces of tin you've ever seen in your life because they don't want to give it up. They enjoy being on dad's bill. So anyway, I hope you have better luck than I did. But the point being, without all of the kids' outgoing constant expenses, you may see that you've got a little bit more money in that checking account. But don't just let that extra cash float away. Go ahead and redirect it with a purpose. Think about what you might want to do with some of that and develop a good plan. The second thing about what changes is your insurance and your benefits review. So you may not need as much life insurance as you have now, or you might want to update your beneficiaries in some way. Maybe your health insurance plan was based around your kids, and so maybe there's something that you can reevaluate. There's a lot of things in the insurance marketplace that I've found in practically working with clients that we can make changes to. We could deploy cash value inside of a life insurance policy towards something that might help with like long-term care, or use that money to start a business. Whatever it may be for you, it may not be that life insurance payout is your primary need any longer. And it's a good chance to evaluate all that, take a good look during the changes. The third change then that you might want to look at is your housing decisions. Do you need all this space anymore? Could downsizing free up some capital or reduce some maintenance costs? Or maybe you want to repurpose the space, do like an Airbnb, start a home office for a side hustle, or maybe there's like an art studio or something that you wanted to do in your house. I know personally what we did is we downsized when the kids left, and we got a place that was, near more the size that we wanted, but still had room for them to come visit. And it also allowed us to have kind of our own spaces. We built the gym. We're close to a lot of friends. So it can be a good opportunity during this kind of pause and pivot, things are changing part of your life, to take a look at your real estate and does it still fit and what you might want to do with your real estate in the future. All right. The third thing then is kind of reassessing your goals, reassessing your why. So it isn't just about budgets and spreadsheets. It's more about kind of vision, revisiting what matters to me, what matters maybe now that things that you've put on the back burner for so long, being a great parent, that really matter to you. Could it be travel? Could it be maybe a career change, starting a business? Maybe retiring early is something really, really a priority. I'm really seeing this with a lot of my clients to say, I don't necessarily want to quit working, but but I don't want to keep doing what I'm doing. And that may, materialize itself as a business, but in a lot of cases, it materializes as something you've been doing, dreaming about doing that you can actually monetize. So maybe you're a writer working in communications and you can go off and do something else as a freelancer that will maybe make less money, but at this stage of life, you don't need all the benefits, need all the things that you needed earlier in life. So it gives you a chance to rethink that. So understanding that why, making some of these dreams, writing some of these dreams down, it can be a huge benefit right now in this time, reassessing that why. You can also look to give to more causes that you care about. My wife and I have really been reassessing this lately because when we see a lot of the needs in our community around homelessness or food, young people not getting enough to eat, that really just strikes a chord. We really want to help. So taking to those causes maybe that you've heard about in your community for a long time that you wanted to support, maybe some of that extra cash can go this way. So, and remember, your goals don't have to look like anybody else's. There isn't a ton of books out there about empty nesting, but in the few that I've read, it's pretty cookie cutter, set up a travel plan and do those kind of things. This is your chapter. This is your next stage to where you can really reassess and do something different. The other area to reassess is to run your numbers again. So recalculate your retirement plan based on your new expenses and your new income. You could be launching into what could be the best earning years of your life in your 50s. So consider accelerating your savings, especially if you're in your 50s and you want to catch up. And if you decided that I've got some extra, I really want to get after it, make sure you've got a good tax plan in there too, so that the money that you're putting away is going to benefit you the most, that you have your investments and the money that you're saving in the right spot and you're using it in a tax-friendly way that will benefit you in the long term. Hey everybody, I want to let you know about our Empty Nest Success Checklist that we put together. This is 9 pages chock full of resources just for the empty nester with podcasts, articles, all kinds of links for tools and apps that you can use as you go on your empty nest journey. So if you'd like a free copy of the Empty Nest Success Checklist, please look in the show notes and or visit our website for your free copy today. Thanks. Third step of reassessing your why is embracing your opportunities. Do you maybe want to take a sabbatical? Do you want to go part-time, relocate? Once again, I've talked to a lot of people that are saying, I'm going to downshift. I'm going to do something different. Some companies will let you do that. As the boomers have aged, corporate America's gotten a lot more flexible because they want to keep that talent on the books. They definitely do, but they don't, you don't want to work as much as you did or in the same scenario or in the same role. In a lot of cases, companies will support you in that. So this is just a great time to model some scenarios, see what's really possible. Are you on track to retire? Can you accelerate some savings? Can you be done early? All those questions can be answered with a little bit of planning and preparation. All right. Next step then is conversations that matter. So we need to have conversations that matter with people. This could be your aging parents. So now your kids have left and you've got some new dependents and it's mom and dad. In a lot of cases, they do need our help more now as they're getting older with their real estate, with their health care, with their savings and their estate planning. So maybe it's a conversation that you have with them to say, Mom, Dad, we haven't had a lot of time to help, but now we do. The kids are gone and we want to dig in and figure out where we can best align your future with the plans that you've made so far. The other then is with your spouse or your partner. Are the visions that you have for this next phase of your life lined up? So it's time to kind of sync up those dreams, time to sync up the finances. Once again, a lot of this stuff gets scattered when the kids are around because you've been taking care of their needs. And so now you as a pair, what do you guys want to accomplish? How can you do it together? The next part then, the conversation is with your kids. Are they on their way to becoming financially independent? Are they still going to need your support with student loans, first apartments? In a lot of cases, they definitely will. You'll find that they want to be adults. They definitely want to find their independence, but more and more they're finding out, as my son told me, wow, life is expensive. It's definitely an anomaly that or an epiphany, that they notice when they get off on their own, where they're like, wow, I had no idea of all of this, and they could definitely use our help and your wisdom that you've brought through all the life experiences that you've brought to the table. So the next one is with your advisor. Someone like me, it could be me, that'd be great, but it's really a perfect time for a full financial review, really taking a look at where you're at and getting some help. You'll have gone through this once in your life, but most advisors have been through it hundreds of times. So let's think about how we can get some quick wins. So perhaps it's canceling any lingering kid expenses, phone lines, streaming services, insurance riders. Let me ask honestly out there, do you have 3 Netflix accounts? This is your chance to get rid of a couple, make the kid pay his own $19 to get that going forward. Second thing is to boost your retirement savings and try to do that by at least the amount that you were spending on their college bills. So if you were funding $500 a month into a college 529 plan, move that over to your Roth 401k. Look at where else you could save that to boost your retirement savings. Maybe you need to build up your middle bucket, which I call your taxable 3 to 7 year money. And you could do some of that stuff to get that business started or retire early. Some of the things that you've been thinking about here in your why part. The next and important thing is to review your estate plan. So especially your healthcare directives, your powers of attorney, who gets your money and when do they get it? Do you still have it set up that your kids have to wait until a certain time to get that money? Are they in their 30s now and maybe it's okay to update those beneficiaries, have it go directly through to them? Definitely something to think about. And then once again, something that we're seeing a lot of is people reassessing. I did my estate plan when the kids were young. Now a lot of things have changed and I need to update that. And then a really fun idea and something that you can do kind of lightheartedly is just a vision meeting with your spouse or with some friends and just say, where are we going from here? If you're single, just do this solo with a life coach. And I haven't thought for a long time maybe about what I want to do, where I want to go. And now this is my chance to do that. So grab some help and get out there and find that why and find where you want to make the most of this next stage of life. So here's the bottom line. The empty nest is not a void. It's a space. It's a space to breathe, a space to dream. And it can be a space to build a financial future that reflects your values, your goals. So I want to thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the Empty Nest Full Pockets podcast. If you're inspired to do your own financial reset, or if you're looking for some help mapping it out, please visit us at our website here at www.pfwplanning.com. On our website, you can get a free copy of my book, Empty Nest Full Pockets, where we go a lot deeper into this journey. And we would love to be part of your journey. So if you enjoyed the show, please leave us a review or share it with another empty nester who's ready for their next chapter. But until next time, giddy up.